Guys, I made it onto Forbes 30 under freaking. It's something that I wish my mum could have seen because she would be so proud of me. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you've been here before, then welcome back. And if this is your first time, then welcome. If I could sing, I'll be one of those annoying people that like, we just be chatting and then I go, and I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I can't help myself when I feel a melody. I have to. That's how I know I be. But anyway, I digress. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, my darlings, my lovelies, my beauts. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get straight into it. I made it onto the Forbes 30 under 30 2026 list 4 months before you go turn 30 under media marketing. This is literally a dream come true. It literally has been on my vision board for 3 years now, or 2 years, and I wanted to apply, and I wanted to be on it a couple years ago, but I just didn't feel like it was the right time. And also, I'm such an avoidant personality type that I literally avoided it to the point of the like submission deadline going past, and then I missed it, and then I just didn't have to think about it. That is not good. That's not what we should be doing. So let me tell you a little bit of backstory as to how I got onto the Forbes 30 under 30 2026 list. First, I wanna demystify some things. You do not have to pay to get on that list. Or well, I did not have to pay to get on that list. There's not a payment process of getting on that list. I would not pay to get onto any list, if I'm honest. For me, this has been such a big dream of mine. And so essentially, there is an application process when it comes to getting onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list. And I'm such an avoidant personality type. And honestly, I thank God that I went to therapy, because my therapist has been teaching me how to become less avoidant. And therefore, I knew that I had to apply in early 2026 because this was my last opportunity, because you have to send you an application, I think. In order for you to be eligible for this year, you have to be still under 30 by the time it's April 29th or something like that. And I turned 30 in August. So I was like, this is my chance, this is my moment. Essentially, it's a type form. It asks you like your job role, job title, where you work, your phone number, details, stuff like that. And then it asks you, I applied for Forbes 30 under 30 Europe, so that was my category. And then it asks you what category you should go in. And I was towing and throwing around social impact and media and marketing, because I said, I don't know, I just didn't know where I fall under, because I thought to myself, maybe it's social impact. And actually, when I wrote my application, it was all under social impact, I will be honest. But then I just felt really apprehensive about submitting it that way. So then when I looked back at the previous people on the list for social impact, I realised they were all like founders of their own company. And that's when I made the switch to media and marketing, which actually, now that I think about it, made more sense. But I think I was thinking about like the nature of my work, and because I work in diversity and inclusion, and it is around kind of impact and social impact, but actually the wider company, obviously working in TV, is under media and marketing. So I put that under media marketing, and essentially it only asks you one question. And it's, why do you believe that you belong on the Forbes 30 under 30 list? That's it. I didn't know whether there was a word limit, so I just wrote everything out in Google Docs. And essentially how I kind of did it is, I'm a Google Docs kind of babe. So I wrote out kind of the journey of my career. So I started off with a bit of a description as to who I am, why I am who I am. So talking about my age, talking about being from Bristol, talking about being from Nigerian immigrant parents, and how that has shaped me, and kind of just a bit of an overview of who I am. And then I went into kind of the beginning of my journey. So I started from the beginning, from like the moment I graduated to then now working in TV. I kept a lot of my full-time job in there, but I included parts of like my freelance work that I do, because I wanted to show the two sides of the work that I do, but how they're intertwined as well. So I kind of went through my journey of like starting off at university, graduating, doing things for myself, freelancing at first, and being very kind of like self-starter driven. It's all about tenacity, and then getting into the corporate world, and then making my mark in the corporate world. But that's still linked to the passion and the why that I had when I was freelancing. And so I wrote all of that out. Honestly, I think it was like 10 paragraphs, or it might have been 11. It was a lot. And then I closed it with why I believed I belonged on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. So I started it off with, my name is Dosezi. I believe that I belong on the Forbes 30 under 30 list because XXX. And then I ended it with the same, my name is, not my name is, but, and this is the reason why I belong on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. Now, you can nominate yourself on that. So that's what I did, 110%. But I also watched a lot of TikTok videos of people that had been on the list before and any advice that they had shared. And so I had seen quite a few people talk about their application process and what they did that I think helped strengthen that application. And they mentioned that strengthen the application was nominate themselves and then get other people to nominate them. It's really important who you get to nominate you. For me, in my application, I talked about being from Bristol. I talked about being from the Southwest. I talked about them working in a TV company. I talked about kind of my journey into the industry. So I wanted to have people that had been part of that journey, but also were in senior positions and people that I was working with and collaborating with now. Then what I did is I will be honest, I don't like writing. So I got my friends, I always say build a support system around you, because I got my friends to read through my application and give me notes and give me a really clear and good steer. I had 2 mentors who were able to look through my application and give me a really good steer. And just people were just really kind and just gave me the time of day to like read through my application and give me notes. And it was just really, it was honestly so helpful. I have those relationships with those people, right? I'm not asking people that I don't have a relationship to like sift through my application in great detail. So yeah, put that through. And then I got an email asking me, I think maybe like 3 to 4 weeks later, essentially I guess it's the next stage, asking me to fill out a Google form. And this was, guys, this was a lot more detailed. The process was just a lot more detailed. I'm not going to list off the questions, but they were asking me questions that like you might not think are like relevant to a Forbes application, but are very interesting questions that really give them a taste of like who you are outside of like the metrics and stuff that you've written. And I will also say, sorry, I didn't say this before, but really think about your metrics and, you know, your targets and what success looks like. I think the numbers are actually really important in terms of, you know, if you're thinking about your role. And I think maybe that's why I low-key also held it off for such a long time, because I didn't think I was in a position where I was in a role that allowed me to really pull together like my metrics and that measurements of success. And so this was probably the perfect time. As much it was like 4 months before I turned 30, it was the perfect time for me to be able to put my application in, because I had done a lot of work over the last year to be able to put into this application. But anyway, back to this kind of second stage. Yeah, so it's a lot more questions in detail. Again, it asks about kind of like your you know, your success, your metrics, etc., and just having that in more detail. But now this has a bit of a word limit, so I was tweaking a little bit. I think I had like 72 hours to submit, and I had such a busy work week, and I had a party that weekend. I was throwing a Y2K party on the Saturday, and I think I got it on the Monday or Tuesday, and then I had to submit on the Thursday, and I was all over the gaff, as in I have never moved that intensely in a week in my life. But my friends were amazing and helped me through that. And then I submitted it. I partied hard on Saturday because I said, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. You submit and that's it. But then also Forbes says that you find out if you're on the list at the same time as everybody else. So you don't get like a oh, you made it onto the list, please keep it hush hush, and then we'll announce it to the world. They literally said you find out at the same time. So fast forward to Tuesday the 15th or 16th of April, and I'm working from home. I'm in the kitchen making some toast. I go on Instagram, I'm watching funny videos. I get a message from someone saying congratulations. I wasn't even thinking about Forbes at the time, because I said congratulations for what, huh? And they're like, Forbes, stay under 30. The way I almost dropped my phone in my pack butter. I was like, are you joking? But yeah. And then I saw the email and I made the Forbes 30 under 30 list 4 months before I turned 30. And if that isn't a description of how sometimes of my character, because I be leaving things to last minute. I'm the same person that has a Duolingo alarm every day at 11 p.m. rather than 8 o'clock in the morning and doing it before I start the day. But I leave it to the last minute of the day. Sometimes that's the kind of person I am, but honestly, an absolute dream come true. Afterwards, when it got announced, I felt really like shy to talk about it, and I didn't really want to talk about it. And I thought about making a video, but then I thought, oh, that's a bit, not that, like, it's not cringe at all, because it's literally my dream come true. But I think sometimes when we have such a big dream, and then when it happens, you just don't know sometimes how to talk about it or how to discuss it. Still can't believe it, if I'm honest. It's something that I wish my mum could have seen, because she would be so proud of me. I think it's just a reminder and a testament that it's really never too late. The thing that you're avoiding is probably the thing that you should do most, but then I will also caveat that when the time is right, the time is right. When you're ready, you'll be ready, and you'll know when to do it. You'll know when to take that leap, because who knows, I might have got in the list in 2024, 2025, but for me, this felt like the right time to be able to do it, and this felt like the time that made the most sense, and I was probably in the best headspace that I was in 2 years after losing my mum. So that's how your girl made it onto the Forbes 30 under 30 Europe 2026 list under media marketing. I hope that was useful for anyone that's thinking about applying for the list. When your time arrives, you'll know when your time arrives, and then grab it by the horns and run with it. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye. Until next time. Mwah. Sometimes in this life, you can feel all by yourself. Okay, 1,